Well, hello everybody and welcome to the XD Creative Challenge. I'm your host, Jesse Showalter. It is an amazing day to do a little bit of design work inside of Adobe XD, and people agree with me because they're jumping in the chat right now, like Umacorn is in the house, Jack Watson, Mwendwa, which I probably said wrong, but we got Sam Peterson moderating and a whole bunch more people jumping in. So if you're watching this somewhere else like on YouTube, come on over to Behance. That's where the party is at. Speaking of the party, let's talk about this XD Creative Challenge party. It's where you can do 9 challenges. You can increase your skills in UI design, UX design, XD specifically. You can find it at behance.net/challenge/XD. Hit the big blue button and make sure to scroll down to see all of the challenges, but you can always find the starting files in the description of these videos. But also make sure you chat with the community. That's going to be the XD Discord server, where you can submit your work. We're going to be doing lots of reviews today because I have missed my reviews for the last few days. I've been so caught up in the design work, in the projects that we're doing, that I've missed them. So we're going to jump on that a little bit today. Speaking of projects, let's jump over to our challenge for the day, which is going to be a little bit of vertical typography. That's right. We are going to do, we're going to be showcasing a product on a website by using vertical typography combined with refined imagery. I got some architecture imagery that I'm probably going to be using today. We have a little starting artboard here. It's not called Parallax. Let's just call this type because we're doing 36 days of type. We're doing that inside of Adobe XD. Let's see, and that one is about 1366 by 768. That's the size of our artboard. You know, I love this little switch over here. We don't talk about this enough, where you can just quickly switch from portrait to landscape mode for your artboard size. That's a good one, especially if you're doing mobile design. Love that one to see how things translate. I feel like it doesn't get enough love, that little switch up there, right? Hey, if you're jumping in the chat right now, tell me what your favorite font is right now. That's a tough one. Not of all time, just currently. What are you vibing with? Font wise, I'll tell you what I'm vibing with. I got a couple of packs that I found on fonts.adobe.com. I love this I Love Sans pack. I'm gonna shout out a few that I love a lot. Anton Regular is a great font. It's just like bold, strong, and it has tall characters. It's gonna be great for what we're doing today. Also, Dharma Gothic is a good one for those use cases as well. I like some of the sharp edges on Prohibition Regular, but you gotta be careful how you use it, how much you use it, because it can start to look a little bit kitschy, I think. But watch out for Termina Black. It's coming in right near Underground Heavy. Those are both great options. I love some of the embellishment characters like on the eye there. Just really cool size. Also, look at the L on this one. Really unique. I love that character. I love a little bit of that minor swoopiness. I know that's not like a really official term, swoopiness, but I just love it so much. I'm going to activate all fonts. All 11 fonts are activated, and you can see the little pop-up that occurred bottom right hand. And you'll see in a second up in the top right of my computer, we should see Adobe CC say, we went ahead and synced all those for you because it's so easy to do. Here's another pack that I really like. This is the Logo Worthy Letters pack. Just a couple of cool, especially if you're designing some logos. This might be a great place to start. It has some cool options as well. I really like this Dominus Titling Extra Bold. Now, here's a quick note. If you don't want the entire pack, which you quite often don't, I actually really just want Dominus Titling Extra Bold. You just click on that little View Family link right there, and it'll bring you directly over to it. Look, we get all the options, and then we can just in case you don't want to fill up your system or your machine with lots of different typography installed or lots of different fonts, you can just select which ones. I like this one a lot, so I'm going to go ahead and just turn that on. Again, there's that little notification on the other side, the green notification saying that things are going to sync. And why don't we start with that one? Actually, let's start with JAF Dominus Titling. I'm going to put some text on the page here and say test. We still have a little bit of our leftover retro typography from yesterday's challenge, which was a ton of fun. This one was called JSD Dominus. Okay, so let's do JSD. Where is it? Let's go down. It's not installed yet. Okay, all right. Maybe my internet connection's a little slow. That's okay. We'll wait for it. But until we do, let's go to something like Montserrat, Monaco. Ooh, actually, there's a Monument. Let's do Monument. I have a great font called Monument Extended. It's kind of bold, kind of modern, kind of fun. Let's start with Monument Extended for now. I'm really vibing this one. Really fun. So Again, we're going to do a little bit of vertical typography. We're going to explore laying typography on axes. Okay, that's a tough word to say, axes. How do you lay it? How is it okay? How do we build systems out of typography? We're going to talk about all that today. And then we might do some fun layout stuff. How do you use vertical typography? What's the right way? What's the wrong way? It's not going to be the end all be all of that topic, but it should be kind of fun to talk about. So let's start first by talking about a little conversation about text on a vertical axis. I'm going to take the border off this. I'm just using my settings panel over here, and I'm taking the border off my text. Let's zoom back out because I deselected things, and let's make this a nice bright white text so we can see. I'm going to zoom in. Now, let's say this is like a headline. Maybe it's something like modern architecture, and we'll just trim this down and make it a little less massive here. Modern architecture. Wow, I can't spell today, and that is a long word. So we're going to put that on a second line. Let's left align our text, and we need to mess with the line height here just a little bit. Let's do something like this, okay? All right, that's looking pretty good for a headline, maybe just a little bit more. And okay, I like that a lot. Now let's do some body copy. Let's do a paragraph of some sort, shall we? I'm going to bring another version of this text down and select the text, and let's bring the size down to 26. Now, before we go too far here, let's pick something like we were going to before. Actually, let's do something like Roboto. That might fit our vibe without being too crazy. All right, I'm going to draw some auto expanding or auto height text, right? That allows me to pull the box over and the text will expand via the height. Command Shift Y, I'm going to come over, Command Shift P. Let's go to plugins. I'm going to open up my Lorem Ipsum plugin and just fill this with some placeholder text. Okay, I've read and agreed to this, and give me, yep, I like all that. Do it. Pop it in, okay? And we should be able to actually, we got to stretch open our text box to kind of fill it, to make sure it fills up our entire area. And now our line height is a little insane. Let's do that. That actually works. Let's do that. I'll double click on that bottom portion. You see how I did that? I just double clicked right here. We have the dotted line below, and when we double click, it's going to retract the size of the text box up to actually fit the text a little bit more. Okay, so we can put this modern architecture piece right there. Let's talk a little bit, really briefly. I'm just going to drag a copy of this off the page. I'm going to group my text together, and I'm going to, whoa, watch out now. This should be boom, 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 auto width text like so, and let's shrink the whole thing down a little bit. Okay, so we have some room to play. Now let's talk about some first, let's talk about placing text on an axis, some basic typographic rules. I'm sure this will be kind of like, I'm just covering some basics for everybody out there, but if you don't know, you're going to know when we're all done with this stream today. Placing text on an axis is important. It gives it placement, it gives it structure, right? We build structure, and it doesn't even have to have anything like any sort of shapes or anything or structure to build off of. We could just be placing text in the middle of nowhere like so, right? Out in the middle of nowhere. And if we place our text like this, and maybe let's ungroup this text, we'll drag it out of our text box. Let's make a mess real quick, and then we'll fix our mess, okay? So what if I do something like this, okay? It's kind of abstract, it's kind of cool, not necessarily the worst thing in the world, but are we giving it any sort of rhyme or reason or structure as we drag these things around? Not really. And so we place typography on invisible axes. You can see the axis that I have here is down the left-hand side. If I do a rectangle, I'll just draw that out so you can see. And let's again get them out of this group. You can see I have really an invisible axis leading all the way up to the left side of the text. That is my axis. Now, if you want to do something interesting with typography, you can rotate, you can be playful, you can have all sorts of fun as long as everything is mimicking the same axis, right? So this text, it belongs together. This is our invisible axis. If we take all of it and shift it and then hide our little axis there, that makes a lot more sense than our previous exploration did, where one was all kind of wonky and place wherever it wanted to be. As long as we are maintaining an axis in any one individual place, we start to build structure. This could be great. We could do multiples of these, right? As long as we're leading them down the same axis. So let's build these out a little bit more, right? This can be great. Let's do that. We'll do another sub headline here. Why don't we actually bump all of this over to the left-hand side? We'll do this one more time over here. Maybe we'll ditch the, we'll ditch this and we'll just do something fun like modern architecture. Is the word architecture spelled wrong? It definitely is, but that's okay. Okay, so maybe we'll grab this and just do something really fun, like something kind of stylistic here. All of this is great, and you could do it just like this, or we could group things together. We could decide that we want things on a different axis, maybe running this way, hide that. This all makes sense too. This could be an absolutely beautiful layout if we continue to explore it just a little bit. I like this. This could be wonderful. We just need to be playful, but still instilling some rules. Okay, so one of the things we're talking about today is vertical typography, right? So let's get rid of all these pieces and bring back some of the elements that we had in there originally. Let's bring our text back in. So again, in that same vein of vertical, like creating vertical typography, or excuse me, creating axes for our typography, this would also be okay, right? Now we're going to start exploring a little bit of vertical. So let's take just our headline here and let's stretch this out. And let's put it maybe over here on the left-hand edge. I'm going to bring this over. And then let's fill it with, actually, with our black color like this. I'm going to stretch the size of this up. Okay, now we're mixing horizontal typography and vertical typography. It all makes sense. At least we are building some structure inside of here. And the more structure that we can build, the better. So why don't we maybe hit L for line and have a little bit of fun down the left-hand edge. We're matching the height of this area over here. I like it a lot. I'm going to drag this in. And why don't we make room for a little bit more text, right? I know everyone's kind of cranking their neck to look at the word modern architecture. Don't worry, we'll make sense of it here in a minute. You can have a lot of fun with typography and with vertical typography, but there's a few rules that are important. Let's shrink it down and we'll talk about some rules, okay? This is, I'm going to write the word crucial info right here, okay? And then I'm going to bring some more of this text down here, and let's shrink it down because that's at 23, okay? And we have auto height text. Let's bring it down and just fit it inside, and we don't need it to be all the way down there. So let's bring that up, and then let's fill it with our black color, and let's mess with our line height a little bit so it's a little bit more legible, okay? Now, let's talk about crucial information, and let's talk about how to place vertical typography. When is it okay? When is it not okay? Again, take all of this with a grain of salt because you can experiment, you can explore, and you can have tons of fun. But a few recommendations that I have for using vertical typography. Number one, don't do it where there's crucial information. Don't make your crucial information the vertical information because that creates people having to do this to read your crucial information, right? So for instance, if our text modern typography, it's not crucial, it's more of a supporting element really than anything else. We can have fun with it and play with it and lead it off the canvas. All of that is fine. But if we were starting to do something like this, hey, we want you to read this as well, it starts to get hairy. We're starting to be irresponsible, right? with our vertical typography. As Uncle Ben said to Peter Parker, with great power comes great responsibility. And vertical typography has great power in it, okay? So be very careful here, folks. So we're gonna turn that back around because this is crucial information, okay? Let's talk about some other ways that we can use vertical typography as well. And these can be in supporting elements, okay? So let's say you had a supporting element. It's time to bring in some visual elements here, some imagery, okay? So I'm gonna bring in, whoop. I'm gonna drag this in so it's not actually taking up an entire shape, okay? And actually, you know, the best thing to do is if you really want an image in XD, draw a rectangle first and then just drag your image into the rectangle. That's always going to be a little bit better. It's going to work out better for you. I'm going to drag this down and we'll bring our green over and we will overlap our image just a little bit. I think that looks kind of cool. And tell you what, let's rework our layout here and just bring our crucial information over. I'm going to take the border off of it and let's start playing a little bit. Actually, let's bring this up. I'm going to undo everything we did. I'm going to bring my image up to the top here, okay? And take the border off of it. And let's make it like a nice big header, right? We're not necessarily building a website. We're not necessarily building an application or a mobile app or something like that. What we're building is meaning, right? We're building rule sets here. So let's remove this typography. And I'm actually going to take my green all the way to the top. I'm going to draw another box here. And let's use that same green instead, okay? So let's get rid of this one for now. And we'll move this down. I'm going to center these elements. Okay, and let's say you had some sort of layout where you had some crucial information inside here, or maybe some marketing information inside here. Let's do something like enter for a chance to win. That's fine. Yeah, let's do something like that. We'll center align our text. We'll use our alignment tools to center that there. And let's go back to using something fun like our monument extended there. Auto width text. And just make sure this is not on a separate line. That looks way better. And let's extend or just increase the size of that and just make sure everything is sized there. We can use a little bit of vertical text now to create like maybe some supporting elements, right? Actionable elements. Like maybe we want people to fill out a form that's going on down here and we have a bunch of form fields. Okay, that's cool. Like we could do something like this and have a form we start to build. But if you want to, you can start using some little vertical elements just to add some visual interest. So I'm going to hit an L for line. I'm going to drag that down and I'm going to make it white. And then why don't we do, I'll take this text here. I'm going to make it white and we will just turn it on its side and do a little thing here. Like we could say something like fill out this form. Okay. Now we're just adding like some little pieces of like visual interest here. And that's another way that we can use vertical typography. Not for crucial information, maybe for supporting elements. We can use it for stylistic elements as well. And the last one that I think is actually pretty stylish, pretty fun. And I think it's appropriate. It works. Even though we're talking about usable elements, is navigation. You can have fun and do a little bit of navigation. So I'm gonna take my border and make it black here. I'm actually gonna get rid of these form fields here because we don't necessarily need those. I'm gonna move my supporting element over to the side, something like that. And I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna bring my fun side panel back here because I like that one a lot. Okay, let's get rid of this and take this one more time and make sure it is in front. To move elements in Adobe XD forward or backwards, I hold down Command and use the bracket key, and that kicks things through the layers panel, excuse me, very quickly. So let's do something like this. Let's go monthly architecture magazine, something like that. And that again is not how you spell architecture. Let's just say monthly magazine, since I don't know how to spell the word architecture. Apparently today, that's what I'm finding out, is I don't know how to spell that word. All right, I'm gonna move that up and overlay a little bit. Let's build a fun vertical navigation over here. I'm going to drag this text over, and that's right, rotate it to the side, and let's do something pretty minimal, pretty chill. I'm gonna do something like home, boom, 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 and I'm gonna drop down the size of it pretty seriously. It's down at like 10. Let's bring that up to 12 because we want that to be still usable, still clickable. I'm going to move this thing over to the side, and then I'm going to add these into probably a vertical stack. So I'm going to group them together. Let's stack them vertically. And now when I copy and paste, we can add a few more in here, and that looks good. And we can stretch out the sizing to it. Okay. Okay, so you can do something like a vertical navigation as well, and that'll get, I still think it's risky, but it's usable, right? People can see short navigational items when they're vertical. They might be able to interact with them, but it's not like you're taking crucial information and you're making them read entire blog articles in a vertical manner. So use them sparingly, use them wisely, use them creatively, and use them where they are scannable and easily accessible. That's just a few tips that I have for using some vertical typography in your projects. And with that being said, it's really just about an exploration, today's challenge, about using typography in fun and interesting ways. So I encourage you to do that. And while we have the chance, and I don't miss it again today, I want to take the last 5 minutes we have of our stream and I want to look at some of the work that's been submitted in our challenges tab over here in the XD Discord server. So I'm going to jump up and look. Here's one from Amulia Jonala. This is our retro website like exploration from yesterday. Here's another one from Uyame. And let's go up a little bit more and see what else we got. This one is our emoji like greeting maker, which could be pretty fun. Let's look at Joss Van Wessel was commenting on something from TumTum. We want to take a look at that as well. And if you're not inside of the Adobe XD Discord, this is why you should be, because we can take a look at your work right here on the stream and give you props where props is due. Let's look at this one. This one's from Passioneer. This is the gaming app. We're gonna full screen this bad boy and give a little bit of feedback. Oh, I like that loading animation. You got the minions in there from Despicable Me. I'm into it. Okay. I'm wondering, this is a timed animation, most likely, right? A lot of loading from one to the next. I think you're exploring like all the different animation possibilities inside of XD. I like this design, actually. I like the use of the Lottie animation, and I like this bottom like tab bar navigation. I like that it's curved on top, not on the bottom. It's pretty clear, and you're using color pretty wisely here. It's a pretty fun, I would say, like kind of like upbeat, energetic kind of app using a lot of blues. We'll go back and look at that main interface there, but I think it's simple, it's clean, it's clear. I might just encourage you to maybe work a little bit on subheadlines or section headers inside of your mobile UI projects. That's always a tough one, but really, really nice work. I love it. Let's take a look at one of these that we opened up. This one is by Amulia Jonala. It's the Resto Cafe Coffee and Croissant. Oh, very good. I like that. And I love, actually, you know, here's a tough one, is making like circular elements and adding those, because those could be super retro. I wish I would have had time to go into it yesterday, because it's not quite there in Adobe XD. But the great thing is, if you got the whole suite, just whip that out in Illustrator really quickly, save it as an Illustrator file, boom, and you could bring it right into Adobe XD. As we saw, you can upload, or excuse me, open up Illustrator files right in XD, and they become SVG instantly like that, which is super fun. So this is looking real nice. I want to see the prototype of this because it's pretty rad. Nice hover, simple, like on off kind of states. I like that you did. That is fun. I didn't think about that. Like bringing some color into like your elements as you hover over them. I like that a lot. That's super fun. I like this style as well. This illustration style that you found. That's a really fun one. And of course, we could always launch the prototype, which is the best thing ever. If you're creating a Behance case study or portfolio piece, just include every possible medium that you can. Shots of it, explanations of what you did, text blocks, video, GIFs, as well as the interactive actual prototype that we have here. Look at that. I think that's super fun. Is it actually, I'm trying to figure out if the lines inside the little coffee are moving and customizing. It's actually, I think, these little bubbles behind which are animating, and I think that's really cute. That's really fun. I'm gonna give some appreciation, show some love. This one is from Yu Yang. It's the Parallax Type Exploration. All right. Ooh, look, we got some stretched out text here. Let's explore some new places. Fun. What a good, can we go back? That was awesome. I need to see that again. Can we talk about this 1, 2, and then wipe kind of like animation thing that just happened there? That was a great loader. I love it a lot. Good animation. Some things move up, some things are moving in. We get that parallax effect. I'd like to see a few things kind of moving past each other to show a little bit of this parallaxy nature. That's a beautiful little layout right there with the video inside of the text. Get out of town. That's so nice. I want to see more of that too. That's a good one. Wow, to mask the video inside of the text. I have not tried that yet inside of XD, but I'm about to. You'd better believe. This is by Amulia Jonala. I'm going to give it some appreciation. We already saw one of yours, so I want to move on. Oh, that's all we had. Okay. So let's take a look at this one. What sound does a cat make? A cat. I see. Are you going to do a little like almost like a a game, a letter game. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. I like that. Have you guys built a game inside of XD? Like, try it. Try building like tic-tac-toe or Battleship or like a word game inside of XD. It's super fun. I think you could probably even design like a side-scrolling. I wonder, that's a challenge for me, to design a side-scrolling type NES video game. That is on my mind. But hey, you have your challenge for the day. I cannot wait to see your submissions tomorrow inside of the XD Discord server. I hope you're having a phenomenal time. I hope you're enjoying these challenges. We'll see you right back here, same time, same place, with me, your host, Jesse Showalter of the XD Creative Challenge. We'll see you then.